Right guys, Mark Crossfield here. In my hands today, Wilson D300 hybrid. I almost said fairway there, because look at the size of it. It reminds me of what 5 woods and 7 woods used to look like. I'm gonna give it a test, dry data and on course, more bobbly bits. Let's get stuck in. So the D300, we get the micro vortex generators on top, kind of Mystique from X-Men looking, these little bumps, which is kind of like, it's helping with aerodynamics, which is what they're saying, how much speed you're going to want to increase on a hybrid. I always see it's visible tech, which to me makes no sense. I want my hybrid to hit the ball a distance. It doesn't need to go further, it needs to go the right distance. We get this 455 marriaging face, which is basically a steel face, they're saying, which they can make light and keep ball speeds across the face, all those kind of things as well. And you're getting a progressive head shape, they're saying, as well. So I think the heads get bigger and smaller subject to the loft. So, and this is the thing that really stands out for me on this club, and what I'm intrigued for testing today, if I like it, is the shape does remind me, this is being the 3, so 19 degree, of an old fairway wood that I would have used to game. So it looks quite friendly. So we get the tiniest little kink in the face. It's not really offset, but we get this little kink, which I don't mind. You get the white line at the bottom, which I do like, with the black all over face and head. And like I say, you get this very nice little shape. So we're about 200 yards out, and I'm going to hit a standard one, then I'm going to try and hit one where I keep it lower, because a hybrid for me has to be demoed in some kind of situation, and if you do that on the range, that's fine. So hit some different shots, lower ones, higher ones. I play this club in many different situations, so just whacking balls, you know, 50 shots, data capture massive, brilliant, but all one shot that you very rarely play on the course, or don't always play on the course, kind of worthless and a massive waste of time. So let's see how it feels. Look, I think all the generators and faces is there so they can write something down. When it comes to a hybrid, like I said earlier, I just want it to go the distance I want it to go. Oh, I've caught that toey, and it's a little bit high right. This right side of the green, it's not too bad. It was a little bit of a toe strike, and it went quite high, which is interesting. I'm actually going to hit another standard one, and then we'll hit the low one in a second. Hit that nicely, slightly off the bottom, so it's climbing a fraction. It's an interesting sound. It's much duller in its sound. That's just on the right side of the green than I was expecting. I was expecting more of a ting, but it's quite a muted sound, and that's not a bad thing. I quite like that in some ways. So let's see if I can keep this lower. Obviously, as the shape of the head changes, what you think and feel you can visually do with a club is always harder. 19 degree one as well, I would always find this a little harder to knock down, but it's still a shot I would play. Oh, that's lovely. That's straight at it. And it's kind of 2 head heights, if you like. I think that's gone pretty close. We'll get up there and see. I like that. I do feel like I can move this one around, which I enjoy. I feel like I can hit this off the tee as well as off the fairway, which is a good thing. Should we look at some of the dry ball data, some of the kind of custom fit numbers I collected with this club earlier? Right, D300 hybrid, carrying 205, spinning around at 3.6, pretty healthy numbers. 210 on my knuckleball hit. I do have a tendency to go left with my power hybrid, which is me, as well as finding one that I like. Decent numbers. What's the launching up at 16.2 degrees, which I quite like, and the fact that it looks like that little 5 wood, almost 7 wood for me, does make me feel like I can really launch it up there. So they're decent numbers, aren't they? What you would kind of expect. Let's hit one more into this green. Yeah, I've hit that quite nicely. It does go pretty high, which I'd expect with this kind of shape of head. So I think the height is something that might sell it to lots of golfers, because they want height from this kind of 200-yard shot out, don't they, from the fairway. It's definitely one you should go and try. Let's get up there and see how they finish. I'm not sure if it just goes a little too high for me, though. Really happy with these two. My low one just here, and then my last one. Then we've got a couple over on the right, which is standard for me from that distance. I mean, it desperately clashes with this jumper, doesn't it? And that's something you've always got to consider when you're buying your clubs. I like it. I'm not sure I would game it. I would have to play more with it. It does concern me how high it would go for me, and I think that's to do with the deepness of the head. But again, remember, for lots of golfers, that's going to be a good thing. Most golfers I teach from the ground, 200 yards out, if they were hitting this club, it's height that they're lacking often. So getting more height on it would only be a good thing for lots of golfers. This is such a key area where so many golfers could improve their game. Yeah, everyone thinks it's all about the driver and the tech on the driver. You'll see the review numbers, just the viewing numbers on this to what the driver does, just make me giggle. It doesn't matter how many times I say it, ego's always going to take over. But there's big gains to be had in this area, peoples. Maybe check them out. See if you can improve another train. Around that 200 yards in, you can lower handicaps, getting this part of your bag better for your game. Yeah, I've hit that quite nicely. Yeah, I've hit that quite nicely. Yeah, I've hit that quite nicely.